but now they need to find a solution club to club. Welcome back on my playback channel. 2 weeks to go, the final 2 weeks of the summer transfer window. Exactly 2 weeks, and it will be over after a super busy summer. Now we are entering into the crucial moments, into the crucial days, and so many things are happening, guys. Tonight also we had some stories, some news, and so Maresca press conference announcing the Chelsea plan is to try to find a solution for Ben Chilwell, so to sell Ben Chilwell, basically. Also because they have Cucurella, Renato Vega in that position, so the expectation is for Ben Chilwell to leave. Also today we had another important story of Manchester United, Jadon Sancho not in the squad, and so we know that when Sancho, a player like Sancho, is not in the squad, obviously it means that things are happening behind the scenes. Erik ten Hag after the game tonight was mentioning an infection, so that kind of issue for Jadon Sancho, and we obviously respect the official version, but we also know, and I can tell you, I told you this afternoon, even hours before the official statement of Manchester United on Jadon Sancho not part of the squad, I can tell you that Jadon Sancho can still leave Manchester United before the end of the transfer window. There is still a possibility for Sancho to leave. It's not guaranteed because it will depend on the proposals, but there is still a possibility for Jadon Sancho to leave Manchester United. Let's see what happens in terms of movements, of domino. In a minute, I will update you on Chelsea, but I wanted to start replying a question I see on Ugarte and on Merino. So let me touch on these two deals, and then we enter into Chelsea because we have things to say and things to update. On Ugarte, so we stay on Manchester United after Sancho. And for Sancho, guys, I will enter into details in the next days as soon as there will be something concrete. For example, Paris Saint-Germain, also to mention on Ugarte. Man United and Paris Saint-Germain have been in touch almost the whole summer to discuss about this Manuel Ugarte story. The real change of the last 2-3 days is that Manuel Ugarte started pushing like crazy to go to Manchester United. What I'm hearing is that Ugarte is really tired of the situation. He's almost 2 months waiting for Manchester United. Tired, not with Man United, tired with PSG. He wants to go. He wants to have this solution. He wants the club to find a way, and he wants to go to Manchester United. Now it's obviously up to the clubs to find a way. He was not in the squad of Paris Saint-Germain for tonight's game. So Ugarte is clearly out of the project at PSG, but now they need to find a solution club to club. But I can guarantee to you that Ugarte is pushing like crazy, but really like crazy, to go to Manchester United. The agreement between Ugarte and Man United was done few days after the deal completed for Lenny Giroud, because there is the same agent in control, Jorge Mendes, and we're going to mention Jorge Mendes, one of the biggest agents in the world, also in a few minutes when we touch about João Felix. But for Manu Ugarte, he's leading the negotiation, Jorge Mendes, Man United, Paris Saint-Germain, and so in the next days they will talk again. Remember, as I always told you, for Ugarte, that for Man United it's crucial to sell one player. So this could be one of the solutions. Maybe McTominay, Casemiro, at the moment the situation is completely quiet, but outgoings are important for Man United in order to find a way to go and sign Manu Ugarte. Or if they can find a creative formula, or if PSG drop the price. So they need to find a solution. But with the player, everything is okay since more than 1 month ago. End of July was an exclusive story. End of July, now waiting for the two clubs to find a way for Ugarte. Otherwise, Man United will have some cheaper option. Sander Berge, they spoke to the agents. Sofian Amrabat would love to return to United, but at the moment, still not active talks. Then there are other options, and so United have sort of backup plan in case the story of Manu Ugarte will not be completed, but really Ugarte is pushing like crazy. Then, guys, Mikel Merino, Arsenal. Important weekend ahead. I think it's going to be important, especially the next 24, 48 hours, to see how the contacts between Arsenal and Real Sociedad will continue over the weekend. They have scheduled new round of talks, but they've been in talks also today. Real Sociedad and Arsenal for Mikel Merino. Merino's been very clear. He wants to go to Arsenal. This is not new, something we're saying since end of July. He has an agreement on the contract, on the salary. He wants to play for Mikel Arteta. It's really similar situation to Riccardo Calafiori deal. The player is okay, the contract is okay, the player wants to play for Arteta, the player believes that Arsenal is the perfect destination. Now the two clubs have an agreement on the fee, because the fee they have in mind, Arsenal and Real Sociedad, is potentially okay is how to structure this fee. So in terms of add-ons, in terms of payment terms, so there is still some work to do on the structure of the deal, but the fee they have in mind, Real Sociedad and Arsenal, is quite okay. So the deal is progressing well. Arsenal are working on it. Could be an important weekend to advance for Merino. Let's follow the situation hour by hour. Tomorrow also the manager of Real Sociedad, Imanol, is expected to talk in public. So let's see what Real Sociedad will do in terms of public statement, public position on this story of Mikel Merino, and then we will go from there. I see a question, Chiesa Sterling swap deal, a question here in the chat. Guys, Federico Chiesa is on the market, but 100% on the market, clearly on the market, since beginning of June. So first week of June, Thiago Motta arrives to Juventus as new manager and tells the board, I don't trust Federico Chiesa. So Chiesa is out of Juventus project since beginning of June, even before the Euros. If Chelsea wanted to sign Federico Chiesa, they had 3 months to do that, and they never started any sort of contact for Federico Chiesa. So what I'm hearing today, then never say never in football, guys, but today, in the last 3 months, Chelsea never discussed Federico Chiesa as an option, from what I heard. Zero into it. So the idea for Chelsea is now quite clear. And now we enter into the Chelsea topic. What I can tell you tonight is, sorry, my phone is blowing up. Allora, so what I can tell you tonight for the Joao Felix story is that today Chelsea and Atletico Madrid have been in direct contact again for Joao Felix and Conor Gallagher, and the agreement is getting closer. We are not at the here we go yet as of tonight, but it's getting really closer between Chelsea and Atletico Madrid for Conor Gallagher to go to Atletico, and that part of the deal is already okay since almost 2 weeks now. So we know that Gallagher was in Madrid, that Gallagher did the medical test for Atletico, that Gallagher also completed his contract because the contract is okay. Now it's about Chelsea and Atletico. But the deal for Gallagher is there, 42 million euros now on Joao Felix. Chelsea and Atletico Madrid, after you remember the exclusive story 5 days ago, was a crazy night. We were live here telling you that Joao Felix was the surprising name to resolve the situation between Chelsea and Atletico after Samu Morodion deal collapsed. Tonight, Friday night, we can say that Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are getting closer after positive round of talks to an agreement for Joao Felix and Gallagher. Then, there are still some details to clarify in terms of structure of the deal, because what I'm hearing is that all the reports in Spain of Chelsea paying 65 million euros fixed and guaranteed fee are not true. So what I'm hearing is that Chelsea will not pay that money for Joao Felix. It's not going to be 70 million euros, 65. No. It's going to be, this is the feeling I have, way less than this in terms of fixed fee. And there will be some add-ons based on the performances of Joao Felix to reach higher numbers. So this could be the structure of the deal. I'm not going to disclose the numbers tonight because the clubs are still negotiating, but I can tell you that both Atletico and Chelsea, and also the agents of the players involved, and also all the people into this story, believe that this weekend they can find an agreement for Joao Felix and Gallagher. Is getting closer also because Joao Felix, after saying yes to Chelsea a few days ago, also said yes to contract terms. So Joao Felix and his agent, obviously, Jorge Mendes, involved in this story, said yes to Chelsea contract terms in order to return to the Blues. Now is on the two clubs to clarify details of the deal. And again, guys, in this saga, really, you can't imagine how many things happen. After the end of the transfer window, I will tell you all the background story on this one. Because at the beginning of the saga was collapsing because of Julian Alvarez. When Julian Alvarez and Manchester City were not reaching an agreement, and Atletico Madrid were not reaching an agreement on the contract, then fixed, reached, and done Julian Alvarez. Then Conor Gallagher, no agreement, Conor Gallagher, Atletico Madrid, then they were able to agree on the deal, the player travels and go back to London. Then Samu Morodion, the easiest part of the deal, everything was okay, he did the medical and the deal collapsed. So this deal is completely crazy. But now, before saying it's done, it's completed, we have to be patient, but as of tonight, contacts are progressing and the deal is getting closer for Joao Felix to Chelsea and Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid. Samu Morodion, already 3-4 days, is no longer part of the conversation. Samu Morodion is back to Atletico Madrid, and they're trying to find another solution. Let's see if they can be able to make it happen. Then, guys, to complete for tonight, I see many of you asking me about Osimhen. Let me clarify something on this one. Chelsea have been clear with Napoli this week. Napoli director was in London for several things. Napoli are going to sign David Neres from Benfica. He's at the final details, medical on Monday. Then Napoli were busy with Cajuste, who is going to Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town are on fire. They sign Calvin Phillips. They will sign Cajuste from Napoli loan with obligation to buy. They are working on a deal for Armando Broja, waiting for the player to decide. But during the meetings between Napoli and Chelsea, Chelsea told Napoli that they see Osimhen and Lukaku as two separate stories. So in Italy this week, we heard they're working on a swap deal. Chelsea today believe that this is not going to be a swap deal. So Chelsea want to sell Lukaku now, permanent transfer, forget about a loan, permanent transfer. This is what Chelsea want to do with Napoli. And then to discuss Osimhen eventually in the final days of the transfer window. The interest in Osimhen remains, but for Chelsea is a topic for the final days of the transfer window in probably a loan or something like that. Then, as I always told you, you know I'm telling you every single day the same thing, Osimhen today. Then what enters in the mind of Victor Osimhen tomorrow, I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not Victor Osimhen or his agent. But today, the position of Osimhen and of his agent is that Osimhen has no intention to go on loan and no intention to reduce his salary. 11 million euros net per season. So let's see if Chelsea will be able to create a formula to make it happen. The interest in Osimhen remains, but Osimhen's story will not change today, tomorrow, on Sunday, and probably not even on Monday. It will take time, and for Chelsea is something for the final days. Remember that the only club that in this summer received a green light from Victor Osimhen was Paris Saint-Germain in July. Paris Saint-Germain had the green light of Victor Osimhen, who said yes to PSG. Then it was PSG deciding to focus on different targets. PSG decided to go for Desiree Doué. He signed the contract. He's officially a new PSG player. The statement will come very soon. PSG decided to go for João Neves. PSG decided to go for Pacho. So PSG decided to invest on different positions. Now, we will see what happens, but the interest of Chelsea in Osimhen is still there, is still very active, but it's a separate story from Lukaku. So Chelsea want to sell Lukaku now and then find a solution eventually for Victor Osimhen. Let's see if they can convince Osimhen, if they can reach an agreement on the formula, but for sure, this is the story. Then, guys, I see someone saying Ramos is injured, the Victor will go to PSG. I think, first of all, guys, the important part is to wish Gonzalo Ramos not to have any serious injury. I know that Luis Enrique said that it looks serious, but I really hope for Gonzalo, who is a fantastic guy and fantastic player, there is nothing serious. And then we will see from here what happens. But in the next days, we will follow all these crazy cases on the market. So, guys, we will see. And answer your phone. Yes, there are so many messages. Let me see. Okay, no, this one is okay. It was an Evan Nilsson. Remember, Evan Nilsson to Bournemouth, an important deal. Then, guys, I think we said everything. Marc Guéhi, Newcastle are still working on Marc Guéhi. So the deal is still on. I know that Crystal Palace are playing hard ball because Crystal Palace don't want to sell Guéhi, and they are doing an excellent job, to be honest, as always. When they have to sell players, Crystal Palace are super tough. But Newcastle are still there. Guys, see you soon in the next days. It's going to be super busy, so get ready. Remember to stay connected here on Playback, and here we go. Ciao.